I don't think I need to give Mike any more of an introduction other than to say we are so excited to hear more from Mike. That was an incredible keynote. I was sitting there at the back just taking it all in, just loving it as an attendee, and I said to Mike, it's sometimes hard when you're one of the organizers of the event to really clear your mind. But it was clear, and Mike, you were entertaining and informative, and we're really excited to dive into some of the things you talked about. So awesome. Without further ado, we got Mike for another, until about 11:15, and then we have Jake Milishkovich.
Great.
Mike.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for the one applaud. I appreciate that. Not applause, but applaud. Now I feel awkward. Clearly I have a needs issue. So there was a baseball team, or there is, I should say, a baseball team that is the first baseball team in history to sell out 3 consecutive seasons. And when I say sell out, I mean every single seat is physically taken. This isn't StubHub or some broker acquiring tickets. Every single seat is taken, and there's an overflow of another 10% where people are trying to watch the game. They are, in their league, the most profitable by a factor of 10. Now, this is not a Major League Baseball team. It's a minor. It's actually called an all-star team. They are called the Savannah Bananas. Has anyone heard of the Savannah Bananas? All right, definitely Google them, and you will be blown away. They've exploited this model that we talked about. And what they did was the owner, his name is Jesse Cole, was looking at his own uniquenesses. In our workshop together, we're going to be looking at our own. What are your idiosyncrasies? Jesse was notorious for being the class clown. He always liked to joke around, happened to be a good baseball player too. And he decided that his unique skill set could generate a new type of baseball business. Now, I don't know if you've realized this about baseball in general. Baseball is kind of boring. And Jesse figured this out too. But Jesse, being the class clown, said, what if we start doing radical entertainment? The Savannah Bananas has become one of the most entertaining outlets that exists. It's like a 3-ring circus on steroids. All the time, there's family, fun, crazy entertainment going on. When you arrive at a Savannah Bananas baseball game, and they do the opening pitch, which I had the privilege of throwing out an opening pitch now a year ago, that will never be a standard opening pitch. I was going up there to getting ready to do it. I'd practiced pitching for months in preparation, and seconds before I pitched, they said, oh, you're going to throw this out, which was a roll of toilet paper. And so it was a toilet paper roll, and they've thrown pies, and they've thrown crazy stuff. They surprise people. Then, all of a sudden, you hear Hakuna Matata from Lion King, like this music. And as they're playing it, Jesse will grab the microphone, speak to the audience of 6,000 people in a stadium that fits 4,500 people, will say, we are looking for any parent who's willing to donate their baby. Donate their baby. And moms grab their children like footballs and run down the steps, bolting to donate their baby for the next ceremony, which they always start off with. Hakuna Matata's building. They take the little baby, they put him in a little baby banana costume. They bring him out to the pitcher's mound, all the players around them, and you hear Hakuna Matata, right? Just like the build-up, and just like Lion King, all of a sudden, out of the center, Jesse will hold the baby up, and they go, doom, like this in the banana costume, and the audience loses their shit. It is out of control, and that is the open of the game. They do the banana in the pants. Not what you're thinking. Not what you're thinking either. The banana in the pants is they'll say, we're now going to do banana in the pants. Guests will run to the upper deck. There's this high tier up there, and there's big barrels of bananas. They will then take bananas and toss them off the stands, and the baseball players will have these balloon pants on and be trying to catch the bananas. It's a remarkable experience. When we're done or when we're in break, just go on YouTube and type in Savannah Bananas and get ready to be blown away. Here's the thing. Because he challenged the industry norms, they've grown explosively. They were on ESPN 3 weeks ago because they were the first baseball team ever to wear kilts for a game. And they slid into first base, and you found out if they were wearing something under it or not. Or slid into second base. What makes you unique? And we're going to spend about 3-4 minutes just discussing it. So team up with one neighbor at your tables and say, here's what's really different about me. Here's something I was made fun of for as a kid. Here's something that's crazy. Here's something I love to do, but I've really never told anyone about this. Don't get pervy, by the way. But talk about it. And then I want the person that's listening to respond and say, you know what, here's how you could use it in your business. You know what? So one person speaks about your uniqueness, and then the other person comes back with ideas. The person that's sharing their uniqueness, you can't say, oh, that's not a good idea. I can't do that. I can't do that. Bananas in the pants? No. You have to receive the ideas and just write them down. So one person says to the other person, here's my uniqueness, here's what's crazy about me. Other person just go crazy with ideas. Does that make sense? I saw some high fives going on, like, oh my God, that's a crazy idea. The reason we want the other person to do it is because they'll challenge our wired, oh, I can't do that in my industry. I need 3 volunteers from the audience to share their thoughts. So the first 3 people, raise your hand. Hurry, I'll stay here all day. Come on. This table, this row right here. Someone, I need one person, raise your hand. One person on this table, raise your hand right now. Come on. Okay, high. Raise your hand super high. Okay, I want you to point to the person to your right, and I want you to read this note to them. Out loud. Here, speaking to this.
Am I opening it up?
Open the note, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here, speaking to
It's
this.
kind of stuck.
This will be very awkward, but lean into this microphone.
I have courage.
You gotta come in.
And apparently you don't. So I hope you're going now. Get your courage.
Okay, that was the most horrible read ever. So you raised your hand. You said, I have courage, and apparently you don't. So I hope you're going, I hope by going now, this gives you courage. So you're up. Okay. So that was an abject failure. That was supposed to be the funniest thing you've ever experienced in your life, but it failed. So you, tell me, what did you find for your business? What did you discover in that exercise?
That I'm a planner.
You're a planner. Okay, so that makes you unique. Okay, so you're extremely well organized and planned. Okay, so that's your uniqueness, and that's, by the way, is an awesome uniqueness. What can you do to deliver that uniqueness to your clientele? I can plan stuff. Okay, what would be so different in your industry? What's the business that you have?
I have a distribution.
Okay, and what do you distribute? Promotional products, okay. And you probably have tons of competitors that sell promotional products or distribute them, right? Okay. And you're very planned and organized as a person. And what can you do that would be way different and unique from your competition regarding planning? What do you do?
We specialize in programs.
Specialize in programs.
But it's not just any program or it's not just any system. We build our own. So I was telling this business partner, we have our own help web developers on staff, and just kind of taken the industry and looking at it a little bit differently. So we really operate as licensees, and we license this product.
Okay. Good. Good. Awesome. And so your customers, are you known to be the most well-organized and planned, basically, organization compared to your competitors? I hope so. Good. Thank you for your honesty. So that awesome job, by the way, because I put you on the spot. So in psychology, what you have to do is you look for what's called the open expression. So she was like this at first. She's like, F you. Okay. And finally got to open expression. I'm like, okay, we're safe. She's not going to kill me. That's a good example. To be the most organized is great. I am now telling you to amplify that on a 10 factor. How do you become world famous for how organized you are? Can you proactively notify your customers saying, based upon our analysis, here's the thing you should do next month, and here's what we should be building toward 5 years out, and let's plan it or something. But go to an extreme, because anyone sells promotional items. I know you've heard that. And if you just sell promotional items, it's not unique. I worked at a company that sold iPhones. You're back to the closed expression. You're pissed at me again. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, you're cold. Okay, good. Yeah. I can feel the coldness right here. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I hurt the ones I love. So I worked with a company that sold iPhones. Talk about commodity. They even dictate the price that you can sell it for. There's no margins there, and you're in trouble. And I talked to this company, I said, what makes you unique? And they said, we know all the hacks to the iPhone. We know like all these shortcuts, these ways to actually extend the battery life. You can actually double the battery life if you just do X, Y, Z. So what we did is we made a video. This is back when DVDs were still popular. But we made a video called the Hack Pack. And it came with your iPhone if you paid a $100 premium. How to get more out of your iPhone. They bundled in their uniqueness with it, and they were the only company selling the iPhone Hack Pack. And really took off compared to the competitors. Whatever your uniqueness is, we have to amplify that and leverage it up, package it, make that your big differentiator. Make that what you're known for. If you go to a Savannah Bananas baseball game, there is a baseball game going on. It's the entertainment that makes a difference, and that's maybe the small 5%, but it's the entertainment. So much so that when I left that Savannah Bananas baseball game I was at, I came out of the stadium, crowd was going wild. I was so enthralled in the entertainment, I forgot about the baseball game. I asked one guy who had a Savannah Bananas baseball tattoo on him, clearly a fan. I asked him, I said, what was the score? I missed it. And he goes, I don't know. I don't know. And he ran and watched the band that was playing. That points to that they were nailing their differentiator. You got to nail the differentiator. So thanks for participating in that. Okay. Here's the next step. Did anyone else want to volunteer? Because now you know how uncomfortable. Yeah, hands shoot right up. Oh, for God's sake, just not me. Okay, I will ask you. Would you go, please? Brenda's super. Yeah, Brenda's like, I will kill you later. Okay, deep connections. Oh, yeah. What's she pulling out of her saddlebag? Holy cannoli, did you brainstorm? Yeah. Oh my God. I just got knocked over. So your name was Brent? Yeah. I love it. Brenda, right? Yeah, Brenda. So first of all, great. And so if you didn't hear, Brenda's quiet, a little bit introverted, except she kind of drives around in a Harley and will kind of kick your ass. So what you can do, and the idea of this particular promotion was exploit the Harley. And here's the power of this. When you really embrace who you are, a community will rise up and say, thank God someone's speaking up. Because there are thousands, maybe even in this room, there's people who are quiet but have this mean streak or kind of cool streak on the side who are dying for some kind of leadership. And they're not looking for a speaker to come up and dance around. They're just looking for it in their everyday expression through your products. So I love that. Embrace that. I think your ideation is amazing. Yeah, let's use that Harley. Quiet but freaking hardcore. Yeah. And customers will love that. All right, anyone else want to volunteer? Yes, right here. This gentleman. Nice and loud. Who's Renya? Oh, the one who was telling me the notes as I was lecturing? Yes, okay, yes. Oh, really? Intense? I had no idea. Love it. Love it. What do you sell, Renya? Like, what's your products? Wearables or something? Or okay. So Renya now. Renya sells wearables, but you're very active in the Salt Lake City community, helping children in particular, is what I heard. Bring art to children. So here's an idea, and there's some amazing ideas there. If you sell, for example, for adults, you sell clothing, why not have your models be these children who are 5 or 6 years old? And you have them on your site, and yeah, of course the clothing won't fit perfectly. It'll be all over the place and messy, but you're demonstrating your passion, and people will resonate with this, saying, we're serving a community around us, these children that need help, and they are our models, wearing adult stuff. So it kind of looks funny and goofy or interesting, and then there's a heartfelt story behind it. You'll become world famous for that. That makes you newsworthy, you know? Pretty sweet. I don't know. That's payback. All right. Does anyone else feel compelled to go? We'll do one more if we want. Okay. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Everyone, your team there came up with your idea. You know, super organized and planned. How can we take this to an extreme? Supporting children, riding in a badass Harley. Love it. Now, what I want you to do is write down your existing top 5 clients. So on the back of the paper that I handed you, see there's this really detailed worksheet on this paper. If you flip it over, it's that blank side. Yeah. Okay, that's where we'll use this. You can just draw this chart here. And on the left side of the chart, it says top 5 clients. I know over that side you can't see it, so I'm holding it up for you. So top 5 clients. Then the next category is revenue in the next column. Then, you can't read that. It says would love it is the third column. Would love it, question mark. So top 5 clients, we're going to write down here. Revenue, would love it, question mark. And then the last thing is going to be congregation. Congregation. Anyone want me to repeat that again? So top 5 clients, revenue, would love it, question mark, conference. Okay, or congregation. Here's what I want you to do. Just off the top of your head, write down who your best clients are, the ones you love to work with the most. Just write them down on this column on the left. Write down the top 5 clients you love to work with. Okay, the top 5 clients that come to mind. The ones that are your best clients. You love working with them. In most cases, they're going to be paying you super well. They're very easy to think of. Well, the top 1 is usually very easy to think of. Sometimes 2 is hard. 5 is actually a little bit stretching it for some of us. Okay, top 5 clients on this side. Then, the next column, I want you now to write down what do they represent for you in annual revenue. So, top 5 clients, write down the revenue per client. Just your best guess. This is not exact numbers. Our planner over here probably is writing down, they generated $132,742.15 last quarter, right? Other ones are like, I think they made $100,000. Just write down as specific as you like, or not. Okay? Next column, would they love it? Now here's the question. Whatever that idiosyncrasy of you is, if we really played it up, if we were the most of that person, really accentuated who we are, would this customer respond saying, oh my God, that is awesome? Or would they be like, that's weird? Or like, stay away from me. So would they love it? Would they leave it? Would they hate it? That's why I'm writing this column. If they love it, put a big smiley face. If they'd be like, I don't care about you riding in a Harley, that's kind of boring, put a straight face. If you're like, you ride a Harley? Oh my God, I can't even see a Schwinn bike ride around, let alone a Harley, then you put a frowny face. But if they would go, oh my gosh, you're my people, smiley face. Does that make sense? Okay. So your best clients, remember we talked about this in the presentation, your best clients who are paying you the most are demonstrating through their actions they love you. They love you by the spend. Now the question is, do they love who you are? They love what you do for them, but would they love who you really are? Once you identify that, what I want you to do Has everyone done with that? Have you identified that? Yes. Okay. Circle the top 2. This means the clients who generate the most revenue from you out of these 5, the 2 that generate the most and love you, big smiley face. Okay? So mine maybe had a frowny here. Oh, it's the elephant man. Frowny, smiley, neutral, smiley. Okay, and what I want you to do is draw a big circle around the 2 true best clients you have. Has everyone completed that? Okay. I'm going to teach you a technique, and then we're going to go through another exercise. The reason I don't know if anyone saw this, but I wear these little tchotchke bracelets. It's not because I'm amazed to buy these bracelets. I'm in a mastermind, and my friend was a distributor. He distributed these. So he distributed these he owned a company called Buyrite, based out of New Jersey, and these were the former Lance Armstrong. Remember Lance Armstrongs? Yeah. Who wants that nowadays? But he made the knockoffs ones, and he'd import them from China and sell them to his different clients. He sorted his clients out this way. Number 1 client, hands down by revenue, was Walmart. Number 2, and maybe some of you sell to them, was a retailer called the Dollar Tree. You ever heard of the Dollar Tree? Okay. And he went through this list. When he was done with this, saying what makes him unique, and he was able to do highly customizable small production runs of stuff where his competitors couldn't. When he went through this, Walmart, while they represented the majority of revenue, the Dollar Tree was his true best customer. And this is what he did. Once you identify, and we just did it, your best customer, you must over-cater to your best customer. Over-cater to your best customer. The true best customer, not the number 1 revenue, but your true best customer. Even to the disregard of the secondary customers. And here's what Joe Spano did, the owner of Buyrite. His company, it was a family-run business. They were in business for 20 years. They were at $4 million of revenue after 20 years. Joe was the second generation, took it over. We went through this exercise in our mastermind group. Next day, Joe put up a sign above his employee's desk. He had 15 employees, order takers and stockers and so forth. And the sign was real simple. It said, we have a new policy here. We always answer the phone on the first ring. When the phone rings, if the Dollar Tree calls, immediately start taking their order, the true number 1 customer. If while you're on the phone, Walmart calls, let them go to voicemail, and then call them back. Okay, pretty clear, pretty obvious. The next thing was the game changer. It said when the phone rings, answering the first ring, if it's Walmart, start taking their order. If while you're on the phone with Walmart, the Dollar Tree calls, immediately hang up on Walmart during the order to take the order from the Dollar Tree. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. He did it. He did this change. It was a matter of a few months when the Dollar Tree's like, wow, our service is so much better. He didn't announce. He didn't call Dollar Tree and say, you're our best customer, really, or anything. He just started to cater his services to the Dollar Tree and started to blow them away. Well, the Dollar Tree told the Dollar Store about this. They were always second fiddle, so the Dollar Store started doing it. $1 buys, and all these different franchises started catering to Joe's business, and Walmart started to fade away. Joe's business that took 20 years to get to $4 million of revenue, a year later, I'll never forget, it went to $7 million, then it went to $14 million, and then it went to $29 million. In 3 years is when he got acquired publicly. My challenge to you, and we just did in our workshop, is you now know who really your number 1 customer is. Cater to them extraordinarily well, to the direct disregard for the secondary customers. Okay, here's the workshop, and we'll play a little music during this. I want you to pull out your phones. You can pull them out from that box if you wish. And what we're going to do is I want to find, this is congregation points. Once you've identified your best customer, find out where do they congregate. I want to know, are there conferences dedicated to them? If I sell to distributors, I got to be at skucamp. My God. If you sell to whoever your best customer is, where are they going? We have to find their congregation points. Okay? What podcasts are they listening to? Because you should be a guest on those podcasts. What magazines, if there are these magazines that cater to their... Why are you laughing, Kirby? Oh, is it Landon with you? Oh, it's Landon. Oh, there you go. I like you. So, what blog posts are they reading? What associations are they in? We need to appear, just like the Freddy Krueger guy, appear in front of our best customers repeatedly, and you'll gain tons of business. Now, here's what I want you to look for. I want you to find those conferences and write them down. I'll ask you what you found. The second thing is, I'll tell you a secret about working conferences, is when you find the conferences, find out who's speaking at the conferences. Typically, the speakers are already trying to sell to that community. Usually not like the opening keynote or the famous person, but the other speakers in the workshops and breakouts inevitably are actually trying to sell to the customers at that conference. Those speakers are your best allies. Like, build relations with them. Because when you build relations with them, they have a gateway of access to all of your targets. The second thing is look at what vendors, the vendor booths that are around the facility at those conferences. Those vendors are your best allies because they too are trying to sell to the same community. Does that all make sense? So I want you to right now find at least 2 or 3 conferences, associations, and podcasts where your best customers are congregating. Do it on your phones, and we'll do it for about 4 or 5 minutes, and we're going to talk about that. So I want to know what we discovered here. Any volunteers? You know how embarrassing you can get if you don't volunteer. Just give me a volunteer. I want to know someone that hasn't the best customer and what you found. Say it super loud. Maybe. Best customers are whiskey and weed. I love it already. Yeah. So I'm hanging out with you.
Yeah, totally. So, doing a quick research, I found the National Cannabis Industry Association.
National Cannabis Industry Association, you found? Okay.
So they have like members, and I don't know, I can explain about it, but I searched that, and then there's like
Okay. So whiskey and weed. You found, you're really focusing on the weed part, clearly. You found associations. You found cannabis association. You found, what was the other one? Cannabis Business, National Cannabis Association, the NCA. Okay. What's your name? Stacy. So Stacy went through her top clients. Do you have clients that are not in the whiskey or weed industry? You do. But your best clients are in whiskey and weed. You found at least 3 or 4 conferences. Have you gone to these conferences before? No. And what do you supply to them? Whiskey and weed. Now, what do you supply to them? Apparel. Widgets. Okay. So you have your industry, you apply apparel and widgets, and I strongly suspect, I've never been to any of these conferences, but I strongly suspect your competitor's not there yet. I suspect that if you go, you can become world famous in this community. And talk about a burgeoning market. I mean, oh, geez. That is a huge market. But I wonder if someone's become the de facto provider there. Who's speaking at those conferences? Did you find some names? Did you get a chance to look? Okay. So the next step, I would look at all these conferences and find out who's speaking there. Often the speakers are the first ones to break into a community. They start getting popular and they speak at every cannabis conference. If I see the same person speaking at event after event, that person I will try to become best friends with and serve them and cater to them because they know all the gateways in. There would be a huge ally if I can serve them. I'd want to know who are the vendors that are already there. And the funny thing is with conferences, I'm not a big person about getting booths. I own a business that sells to accountants and bookkeepers. There's 4 major conferences every year. You wouldn't care about them, but QuickBooks Connect is a big one. There's another one called Skin on New Heights. Every accountant bookkeeper shows. I've never bought a booth, yet we're one of the most recognized authorities in that space because me and my team are constantly at those events working and just meeting people. So there you go. And did you notice, were there other vendors? Did you see at these conferences they have vendor booths or anything like that? Didn't have to, yeah, there was not enough time. But that's what I want to look for next, is at each of these cannabis conferences, what other vendors are there? Those, is there someone selling software to cannabis businesses? Maybe you can build some kind of alliance with them. But I would seek out the other vendors. Do you see the power potentially, Stacy, in this, is that you focus on this community, how you can grow expertise toward this community? And do you think you might source different stuff? Maybe you get hemp-made clothing more. I don't know if that would resonate, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you ever noticed this. If you go to your local, hopefully everyone goes for an annual checkup with your local doctor, right? For your general practitioner. Here's the challenge that general practitioners have. If you're a general practitioner, you serve people in your local community. They are doing what's called a convenience purchase. Chances are, if you have a GP, they are within driving distance of your home. Well, you go visit this GP, they have to be trained constantly on new things, like, what's that skin rash? Could it be the Zika virus or whatever, hoof and mouth, or whatever the new disease of the day is? Is that what's called hoof and mouth? Hoof and face? Hoof-like face? Yeah. Oh my God, your face looks like a hoof. Oh, whatever. They're constantly acquiring and have to be skilled in new knowledge, constant learning. The day that general practitioner says, you know what, I'm sorry, I've decided to move across the country because that's where I want to retire. I'm still seeing patients. I ask that you start flying across country to see me for your annual checkup. You know that $50 copay you're paying right now? To make more money, I have to change it to $5,000 for a visit. Is that okay? No. A convenience purchase is something that is within a general low price point, is within the general vicinity, and has a general skill set, a general knowledge. The second that general practitioner says, oh my God, that's not whatever skin rash, that's actually skin cancer, you go immediately to a specialist. Now look at a specialist. A specialist who can cater to you can charge a massive premium. If your life is on the line, I'll travel across the country in a heartbeat. I'll go anywhere on the globe to find someone that can serve my ailment. And $5,000 copay? Listen, if I'm going to die here, I'll find $500,000 for you probably by the end of the night somehow, some way. I'll pull it off. The specialist attracts special customers with very specialized needs who are willing to pay an extraordinary premium and go out of their way to consume our offering. Now, the general practitioner sees thousands of patients. The specialist only sees a few. Here's the craziest part. The general practitioner constantly has to be acquiring new knowledge to stay on top of things. The specialist has to be continuing to narrow their knowledge. They don't have to gain new knowledge. It's repetition that actually serves them. When the skin cancer doctor says, oh yeah, I've seen this case 1,000 times. Do you want to work with me? The answer is, hell's yeah. If the doctor says, oh, I've never seen that before, but I can give it a shot. You want to hire me? It's like, no. If you are a general practitioner, you'll attract people who are looking for a convenient purchase, and they won't go to extraordinary measures to consume from you. If you become a specialist, you will attract fewer customers, but they see hiring you as a life-saving opportunity. Oh my God, do you get my industry? You're going to save my business. I will work with you. And they will go to extraordinary measures to buy from us. And they'll put the most value in us if we repeat the process over and over for other customers. Become a specialist. Okay, I put my notes away. Yeah, that landed with someone. They're even whistling now, right? Okay. Okay, we're going to talk about a concept. We're filling out the seed. And so what we just did is we went through your uniqueness in 3 minutes, so I encourage you to explore some more. We started talking about top clients that resonate with it. The last thing we have to do is systems. I actually do a full lecture on this for about 2 hours. I've written multiple books. There's a book called Clockwork that I wrote about systems. So we're going to do this in hopefully 5 minutes or less, because that's about how much time we have. Clockwork, and it's Clockwork, and it's on Amazon or Audible or whatever. Here's what I want you to do: systems. Every business I've discovered has a singular activity that is the most important activity to the business. I've labeled it the QBR, or the queen bee role. And when I was studying businesses, I found that beehives, of all things, are the most efficient organization. They consume very little energy to scale. If you ever see a bee flying around your window, next day you see this massive hive, they follow a very simple instruction set to make that happen, that businesses need to use too. And here's what it is. The most important function in a beehive is the production of eggs. Bees die very quickly. Depending on the type of bee they are, they can live 8 weeks to maybe 4 months. So they die quickly. They need to produce eggs. The bee that produces eggs is called the queen bee. Now here's the confusion point. I'm not saying the queen bee is the most important bee in the hive. What I'm saying is the production of eggs is the most important function in a hive. It must happen. The queen bee is actually expendable. If she's not producing eggs, they will expunge her from the hive and produce a new, or spawn a new queen bee. And every bee knows it. For us to survive and therefore thrive, we must be producing eggs. Every business has a queen bee role. Here's an example. FedEx, everyone knows FedEx, so you probably even use them in your business. FedEx has a specific promise, a unique offering that they offer their community. And what it is the promise to deliver your packages on time. In fact, they say, if it absolutely, positively needs to be there overnight, we'll make it happen. That's their uniqueness thing, the ability to deliver stuff fast and on time. The question, and there's a customer base that resonates with that, right? Now, the question is, how do you make that happen? Well, the most important role at FedEx, once we know what the promise is, deliver packages on time, you peel back the onion just one layer and say, what's the one activity we do, the one most important activity we do, that makes that promise a reality? So what's your promise to the market? And then peel back the onion and say, of all the activities you do that support that, what's the one most important? Well, for FedEx, the most important activity is logistics. It's the movement of packages. If FedEx says, you know what, screw logistics, let's become super friendly. Let's amplify the customer service. Super nice people. They'll spend hours on the phone with you, just chit-chatting it up. Will people notice? Maybe. Will they continue to do business with FedEx? No. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't know where your package is or if it'll be delivered on time, but how are you doing? You know, they'll go out of business. FedEx knows that the production of eggs for them is the delivery of packages on time and its logistics. Therefore, if it's ever threatened, they will do whatever it takes to move that part, that one function forward. And for FedEx, happens every season around the winter holidays, surge in demand, more packages get shipped around the holidays than any other time of the season. So what does FedEx do? They actually take their managers off of the desks and say, get in the trucks and start driving. They bring in temporary staff. They bolster it up. So my question for you is this. What is your QBR? What's the queen bee role for your organization? You've determined what makes you unique. You know the customers who are resonating with it. How do you deliver it? By doing one thing extraordinarily well. That's the beauty. I know you do hundreds of things, but what's the one most important thing that supports this? That thing is your system that must be protected and served and expanded. And if you ramp that up, your business will flourish. So we know it's, you have a cannabis community. We got to figure out what's that uniqueness that they're consuming. Maybe you already figured it out. And then what activity will make this become a reality, this uniqueness. Does that make sense? Okay. One last thing, because we only have 2 minutes, is I wrote another book, not selling from the stage, but is he? Another book called Profit First. And thanks, Mom. So I didn't know she was here. Here's the one clap that I want to share with you about Profit First. In your business, all this stuff can come through if you do one thing, which sounds totally bass-ackwards, but if you do this one thing, it will force you to bring all this stuff into alignment. And it's simply that. Take your profit first. Now, here's the core concept of this. Starting today, pick a percentage that you aspire your business to achieve. Maybe you want 10% profitability of your top line, maybe 5%, whatever it is. Whatever that percentage is, starting today, take that profit first. What I'm saying is if you want 10% profit and $1,000 of deposits come into your business today, take 10% of that, it's $100, tie it away, and then run your business off of the remainder. What we're doing is we're actually going to reverse engineer your profitability. My final thought is this. We've been told in our lives, and if you study anything about personal finance, that we must pay ourselves first. We must pay ourselves first to save money. And yet, I've worked now with so many businesses that never pay the business first, profitability. Profitability is something we wait till the end of the year. We hope there's some money left. There isn't. We're like, oh, shucks, maybe next year. And we probably use a stronger word than that, and maybe next year. And profit never seems to happen. There was a study conducted by the SBA that identified that 83% of small businesses, companies that do $25 million in annual revenue or less, are not profitable. 83% of businesses are surviving check by check, which means statistically, I'm talking to you. And if I'm not talking to you, it's the person to your left and to your right. Most of us are struggling check by check. All this stuff will come into alignment if you start to pay yourself first in your business. Take that percentage that you want to be profitability, take it out of your business, hide it away, and force yourself to run your business off the remainder. What you'll be forced to do is find what really distinguishes you in your market, because you can't compete on price anymore. You have to compete on value. It'll force you to find the clients that are profitable. In most businesses, the lowest 10% of customers are costing you to keep them as clients. But we don't see it because it's more revenue, but at what cost? So it'll force you to pick who your true top clients are, and it'll force you to only do the things that work in your business. Well, maybe buying Facebook ads really isn't generating profit. We stop doing it. But you'll never know unless you start taking your profit first. All right, guys, that was like drinking from a fire hose this morning. It's been a privilege. Thank you so much. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you.